Did you see the latest news from the World Cup? Did you see the latest news from the World Cup? So apparently, Scottish fans completely drank the city of Boston dry, and now they're headed to Miami to attempt round two.
Yes, I did. And I really don't know if Miami or Florida is ready for the UK's level of hydration.
Honestly, it's been the most phenomenal thing to watch international visitors come over, break their old stereotypes of us, and just fall in love with American food and hospitality.
The world is at our doorstep. Cecilia survived her first night away at church camp, and the weather is keeping us on our toes.
This is Sunday Faith, Weekday Chaos with Matthew and Ashley Brooks.
Where faith meets family.
And the kitchen table stretches across the globe. So it really has just been an absolutely crazy week with the weather. So last Wednesday is when it really started for us. Our neighbors to the north, Effingham, Charleston, Montrose, they had tornadoes that ripped through.
Yes, and did you hear about the speedway up there at Charleston?
Yeah, I saw that they had a ton of major damage. They've had to cancel races since then, haven't they, at this point?
Yes, and then the other local track, Charleston Speedway, offered their track for that, I think, benefit.
Yeah, I think they have a benefit race that they were supposed to be having maybe this coming weekend or in the next week or so.
I think so. And I just thought that was really cool that two competitor tracks on a race night put that to a side for a special thing and come together for a benefit and with open arms and welcome men. I thought that was pretty cool.
That is really cool. And I remember they did the owner of the track of the one that was had received damage. They had a humongous tree that was basically splintered into toothpicks. The darn thing was all twisted up and just completely destroyed. They had a ton of, I think they had issues with maybe their stands and fences and all sorts of stuff that made it to where it's not safe to race right now. So I think they've got some fixes that they've got to work on for now.
Yeah, and not just them tree photos, but just all over in general. It's amazing on how their tornado or just wind can just twist up the trees or just split them. That
It's like
I
nature on
just
nature.
yeah.
So Cecilia was actually up at my parents'. They were up at the campground on the lake. Um, she was supposed to go to a pioneer camp with dad the next day that ended up getting canceled. But surprisingly, we didn't hear a ton from her about having to go to the bathhouse, which is the storm shelter that they have up there in those times of bad weather.
Yeah, and her T-ball game got canceled that night, Wednesday night.
Yeah, I had totally forgot about that. I had to meet mom and dad in Effingham instead of them being able to come down for the game. So that was crazy. So there's just been a ton of devastation. I know the Corvette Museum sustained a ton of damage. They had, it looked like a whole building that was taken out between parts in their museum. So I don't know if they'll be able to rebuild any of that or part of that, but that's kind of crazy to see. I think they were supposed to have Volkswagen Fest last weekend and they had to completely cancel that, they said. So
Yeah. Then there's I was reading one dairy farmer up there is still missing, I think, like 40 head of cow.
that's crazy.
I couldn't imagine.
Not to go like lighthearted on that, but that reminds me of the original Twister when the cows were flying in the tornado. I hate to I hate to go that route, but that's what I think of when you said that he's missing cows.
Moo.
I know you really like that movie. I actually I don't know, I guess I appreciate it more now that I'm an adult because I put you off on watching the darn thing forever. And
You
then,
you did.
so, but I don't know. I think the one,
Old oh,
I don't know. I think the one thing that I keep coming back to, because we had storms on Sunday too that went just south of us. And in Louisville, we had a business that had the roof ripped off and other area families and surrounding communities that also sustained damage from the tornadoes that ripped through this weekend. It's just been crazy. And I keep coming back to in both of those times, I just remember praying to God for our safety, the kids safe, and, our home. And I can't help but think that other people were praying those same prayers. And I think I struggled with that the last couple of days, just kind of thinking the why us, why were we spared? And I think we came across Isaiah 43:2.
when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze.
I think just kind of, going to God in prayer for the safety of our kids and our home and us while watching the radar. It's those experiences that are hard to forget. And walking outside to see just a few limbs down and leaves, it again brings up the why were we spared when others lost everything?
It really makes you realize that God doesn't micromanage the wind to reward some people and to punish others.
Exactly. He doesn't say the water won't rise or the storm won't hit. He says he'll be right there in the middle of it with us. And so for our neighbors who are dealing with total devastation right now, our prayers aren't just platitudes. It's asking God to be close to them as they walk through their fire.
It still amazes me that Illinois has had over 190 tornadoes, and the second one is only at like 80 some. That just really
It's
mind blowing to
it's
me.
crazy and amazing at the same time.
Yes.
So as we shifted into the weekend, which would end in storms, Friday night got to drop Cecilia off for her very first overnight church camp.
She was so excited for this.
She was. And one of the things that I didn't tell her, or at least bring up to her, was that one of her friends I thought was supposed to be going to the same camp. But I didn't want to tell her and get her hopes up in case something happened,
Right.
because she would have been like,
Things can happen last minute, and
oh, but she can't come now. She's going to be all heartbroken, and I didn't want to deal with that. So,
I don't blame you there.
well, but I mean, in general, I feel like we've gotten better about not telling her things until we get like ready to go sometimes, just because otherwise it's, well, is it time for this yet? Is it time for that yet? Do we get to leave for that yet? No, it's in like another 3 weeks. Like we've done that before. And then we regret it the entire time.
Yep. But she knew about the overnight.
She did. And she was actually surprisingly excited about it.
And then, um, because you came by work and before you took it out there, and she just all smiley and ready to go.
Yep. So that was about when her friend's mom texted and said, hey, are you guys, is this the camp that Cecilia has? She's like, we're out here. And I'm like, awesome. We're on our way out there now. So we got out there and she was so excited when she got to see her friend.
And you said her friend had another friend with her.
Yes. As soon as we got them checked in, the three of them are like holding hands, skipping off to the dorms so that we could drop off their stuff, get their beds made.
Oh my gosh.
It it
I
was
can just picture this.
it was adorable to see 6 and 7 year olds just kind of, like a happy little trio. So they got bunk beds next to each other, and something that made me, I don't know, slightly relieved. Like, I wasn't super worried about her, but even though I was pretty confident she wouldn't have any issues, it's just like, oh, it's her first overnight, not with family and, whatever. But one of the, I don't know, room parents or whatever they're called was, it's a friend of mine through PTO. So I was super excited to see that. And I don't know.
And you said the three girls were in a row.
Yes. Oh my
And the
goodness.
mom was across, right?
Yeah. So Cece knew her. And so that just made me a little more relieved. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know. It was just that extra little reassurance.
Well,
So,
it would help her out quite a bit.
yeah, I mean, if she felt nervous or something, she would at least know she could go to her. So, got her all settled there. We walked over to the chapel, and it was so funny because Cecilia, she knew that was where we were dropping. That's where we would part ways. And so she took off with the girls to go play. And the other girls came back a couple of times, but Cecilia came over, I don't know, probably no less than a dozen times just to tell me, "Bye, I love you." And so I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like,
No
how
night.
she probably did. But I thought to myself, I'm like, how am I going to get out of here? And Creed, of course, he was
Ready to go.
he was ready to be out of the stroller, and granted, he was going to be stuck in the car seat to get home, but
He does the car ride a lot better, though.
he does. So I think he probably slept on the way home. So got her all settled.
Saturday, we had a nice, relaxing day. Just did a little all ball stuff around the house, and then it was time to go pick her up. And we got there a little early, but they were already having the kids come up. And Cecilia was just both staying at her luggage, and she picked up both and started trying to walk to us.
Well, because her little duffel bag was loaded. And so picture this. She's not very tall. And so she's got this glittery silver, got a unicorn face and like a furry pom pom and a unicorn horn. So she's got this duffel bag, and it's packed to the gills. And she's also got a tote bag because it had her bedding and pillow and whatnot in it.
And it was packed to the gills.
It was. And so I was impressed because she thought it was too heavy when I dropped her off, but she was Little Miss Independent when we picked her up, had both bags, duffel bag over one shoulder and carrying this tote bag.
I got it.
She wanted no help.
And we made it about halfway across the gym.
Hey, I was impressed she made it that far.
Me too.
And then Sunday, we just had kind of a relaxing day. We spent it at home celebrating Father's Day. Cecilia and Creed, and I use that loosely because he's not at the he's at this stage. He's just like, oh, okay, happy to be here. I'll do whatever my sister wants. So she picked out some really cute things for you for Father's Day and your favorite candy. And so I love that she's big enough now that she can actually pick stuff out.
I agree. It's awesome to watch her, and like, what is she gonna pick out?
That's what I was just exactly. You don't know what you're going to get sometimes.
No, you don't.
And sometimes you have to offer just a bit of guidance. But I mean, when we walked in the store, she's like, I want that shirt. And then she picked you out that patriotic straw hat. That was all her. It's all her. I had nothing to do with that
I,
other than,
I really like the hat though.
yeah, I knew you would. I was like, he needs a new straw hat. It'll be perfect. So that was, I love the times that I actually get to let her just pick out everything, kind of.
Oh, and girl spatula and tongs.
So I think we finished that night out with a roast chicken that, as the storms rolled in, I was kind of doubting whether that was going to end up getting cooked. The power kicked off the last 15 minutes, I think, that I was trying to cook.
Yeah, but this time I only did it once and not last like 45 minutes or an hour. It just,
It popped off and popped back on,
you
so it
know,
was fine. Well, once I remembered that the oven shut off because the power kicked off, and I was like, oh, got to turn the oven back on. Duh. So, got to have a nice dinner. I finished the evening out after the kids went to bed by finishing the cake pops that I was making for Creed's birthday this coming weekend. And so that was a new experience. More to come on that later, but
I'm excited for the red velvet,
I know
which I'm kind of biased because I enjoy red velvet.
it's your favorite, especially if
Yes.
it's like red velvet cake with strawberry frosting.
Well, yeah.
It's so weird.
Nobody said I was normal.
So, one of the things that has been, I think, the biggest over the last week has been the World Cup here in the US. So, did you realize that the World Cup was going on? Because all of a sudden I started seeing reels.
Yes, I did. I have recently picked up following soccer, so I've been kind of keeping an eye on the World Cup. And a short story. And back in the day, middle school, I was a goalie, and we would play soccer, and I was one heck of a goalie.
Somehow that doesn't surprise me. That was your position.
And of course, I would dive and get my clothes all dirty. So, I mean,
You know, aside from playing soccer a little bit in the yard with Cecilia, the last time I played soccer, I'm pretty sure, was the first time and probably only time I ever blacked out in junior high. I at least sprained my ankle. I don't know. Maybe I like popped something in my foot. I don't know. But I blacked out standing there almost. And I'm like, I can't see anything. I don't know. I just remember that. Throwback to last week because I'm nearly passing out during your vasectomy. Very similar. But anyhow,
but yes, and yes, the Scots, they have drank the Boston dry
that's been
in one night.
that's been comical to see. I mean,
And they had to add an emergency shipment in Saturday.
that's crazy. It's just been so cool to see. I've seen different reels. So, like, of course, there's ones where, you've got these foreigners. I'm going to use that term in general just because we have people from all over the world coming to celebrate their national teams in this World Cup across our continent. And so it's been a wide variety of people. It's not just one nation that's had I'm going to say, a really good experience, but I feel like a lot of them have cited, just watching Americans in movies and things, and they have this preconceived notion about, I don't know, that we would be cold and we have crummy food and they wouldn't be welcomed and all of these things. And so many have shared experiences that they've been blown away with the hospitality that they've received, that people have been so kind to them. And I don't know, I guess I want to say, hey, if you've had an experience with someone who's been visiting, kudos to you because they've had a really positive experience here. And I think that's phenomenal to see, especially in a time when we have so many folks in our own country that are just like anti-America, but that's a whole nother
Be kind
rabbit
of
hole to go down.
be kind of cool and just swap them.
Wouldn't that be nice? For everyone, we'll invite your whole family if we can get rid of this one person and put them in your country.
Yes, and the one thing that is really cool I've been seeing is I just noticed the Scots in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm sure the other countries have done it too. But how they have picked up after themselves and helped bagged up trash. Like Boston, the mayor and the president, they're at
Red Sox.
yeah, for the Red Sox, um, have talked about how they helped bagged up the trash and they didn't have to have extra help. And even the workers have said, like, it was already done.
Yeah, there was a gentleman who was he picks up trash and whatnot, I guess in this park or around the city. I don't know exactly what the case is, but he was just so impressed. He goes, they drank a whole lot. He goes, but everything was, put in the trash cans or it was right by it. I mean, it was neatly stacked it was easy to pick up. It wasn't just strewn across. And as far as ball games go, because we've had, we've seen, both of us have seen reels of people who have supported football teams and baseball teams and everything, that they didn't come just to watch soccer. They've been taken in other sports games. But you and I have both seen, Bush Stadium after a Cardinals game, and it's people leave their trash all in the bleachers,
Oh
and
my
it's
gosh.
crazy. But you're right, I know I saw a reel that the Japanese team, or not Japanese team, but fans had gone to, I think it was a baseball game, and they were picking up trash, like not just their own, like they were picking up trash in general. Like that's a fantastic thing to adopt. I mean, we take our trash, but not everybody does.
The other thing that amazes me is how a town took in, they said like 50 or 60,000 fans of, and they embraced it. Like Boston Red Sox, they had a um, Scottish Heritage Night. They were playing bagpipes and some other songs. And I just thought that was really cool that they didn't have to do that.
No, it was really cool.
And they did that. So I thought that was really cool. Then the other thing I've seen is that they are really impressed that we have free refills,
Ice and drinks.
you know, and when you get outside of the stadium, you don't have to pay for a public restroom because you do over there in the UK.
And other places, yeah. Did you see? I don't know if you've had these reels, but so I've been watching Euro Kelsey, which, if you need a really cool, I don't know, video series to follow, so it's Euro Kelsey, ROW, but she's rowing from California to Hawaii. I digress. But I think because I've been following that, I got pop ups of other people doing like other, I don't know, long distance journeys. But there was a guy named Craig Ferguson, and he started in LA and walked to Boston. And I forget how,
Holy cow.
I I don't even remember how many days that was. Hold that thought. So I think it was like 108 days that he walked.
Holy cow. 3.5 months.
I think it said he started in late February, which starting on the West Coast in late February is not
That's not
terrible.
too bad.
But so I think it was called the Tartan Trek, which goes along with the Tartan Army that has, invaded us, which has been really cool to see. But he was raising funds for, I think it was men's mental health. but he's raised over £1 million. So that has been it's been really cool to see that, and he was able to make it to Boston by June 12th. So he made it there in time. So it's just been really cool to see those things and have such positive experiences come out of this World Cup. And it's not over. I think the Scots have taken over Miami, and it's kind of cool to see that playing out now and seeing what a good time they're going to have there. I think Miami is welcoming them with open arms. I don't think they quite understood their cone on the statue thing at first, but I think they've actually embraced that. I think I saw something about that the other day. So, super excited to see that. I think you've got the Brits in Texas, or you did. Um, so,
Kansas City had something there at Arrowhead, and they were um, had wide open arms.
yeah, so the national teams have like base camps in cities all across the US. Well, US, Mexico, and Canada.
Back to Scotland, Scotland being in Boston. What the other thing that is really impressive, how much they drank. They had to extend the curfew to 3 a.m.
Oh, for
But
liquor sales?
yeah, for liquor sales. But the police chief said that the arrest was very few of the Scots. Like it was virtual, non-existent. So I thought that was really cool.
So, just as we reflect back on the World Cup and it continues on, I think that looking at Hebrews 13, verse 2, just kind of helps to wrap up that sort of hospitality mentality. In do not forget to show hospitality to strangers, for by so doing, some people have shown hospitality to angels without knowing it. So I just think that kind of, I don't know, parallels the things that we talk about in church, just kind of that aspect of when we're trying to spread the gospel and the Great Commission. A lot of times, what speaks louder than words and preaching is the actions and the way that we show what living a Christ like life looks like. Because there's a lot of times when you do something and somebody goes, "Well, that was real Christian like of you," in those moments. So I think that just kind of parallels that. And it was something that we were reflecting on this week. So as we close this week, just remember to be welcoming to strangers. You never know where the angels are going to be, and those moments that someone is looking upon you, and also lifting up our friends and neighbors in our surrounding communities who need our prayers right now. They need to know that God is with them through terrible times as well as the good.
And we would like to thank everyone for pulling up a chair to our kitchen table this week. And if you would, please give us a like and a follow or wherever you get your podcast.
And something new this week, we have also launched our Facebook and Instagram pages. So you can find the links for those in the show notes, as well as, depending on where you're listening to this, links to easily grab the podcast.